welcome to this video. Just to give a little background, I am an RN and for the past few months I have tested a lot of people for COVID. We're talking hundreds, definitely over 1,000. I have both trained other people to do swabs and I have tested people. And I've been using the Mid-turbinate and the Nasopharyngeal Swab. So if you're worried about the test or you want to know a little more about the procedure, let's get into it. I have literally heard and seen reactions from hundreds of people, so I know kind of what to expect and stuff like that. Let's start with the nasopharyngeal swab. I'm going to put a picture in here. The swab goes through your nasal canal and all the way back to the nasopharynx. I would say 90% of people were scared to get this type of swab because there's a lot of hype on this type of swab. People hear from their friends and family that it's the worst thing ever, which it's not. Yes, it is uncomfortable and in some cases it is a little bit painful, but I had so many cases where people heard crazy things about it that it was like the worst thing in the world, and after I was done swabbing them with this, they were like, oh, that's it? That wasn't too bad. I had so many people say, this is the one that goes all the way to my brain, right? You're gonna take out a chunk of my brain. I assumed everyone was kidding who said that, but you never know. Some people are weird. When they said that, I would just kind of awkwardly laugh, like, no, it doesn't go in that far. I don't go to your brain, no. I just go to, the pharynx, your throat. So I think most of them were just meant it in a funny way. I hope. I hope that there isn't any word going around that it goes to your brain. Yeah. I just thought it was funny how so many people said the same thing. It was mostly like middle-aged to older guys, and I live in Wisconsin, so they'd be like, oh, you're going up to my brain, yeah? No, I'm just kidding. They didn't say it like that. Hey, going up to my brain. So as far as the procedure goes, I would first ask the patient if they have any nasal issues such as a deviated septum or swelling in the nasal canal that would make it harder for me to get the swab up their nasal canal, because as you saw with the picture, it does go all the way back to the nasopharynx. Then I would ask the patient which nostril they preferred. Most of them didn't have a preference, and then I would make sure they were ready, and then I would gently, that is the key word here, put it in gently. Just, I had people tell me there were some times before they came to my testing site where they said someone would just like jab the swab up their nose. Yeah, no wonder they thought it was super painful and heard from their cousin Frank that it was a 10 out of 10 pain. I gently insert the swab up the nasal canal all the way back to the pharynx. Once the swab is as far back as it needed to go, I would twist the swab just for a few seconds, and then I would take it out, and I just wanted to make sure there was enough on the swab when it's all the way back. You want to get enough for the collection, and then I would take it out. The best word to describe how it's gonna feel is weird, okay? It's not normal to have something stuck up your nose. It's just weird. It is uncomfortable. It's normal for it to be uncomfortable. I had a lot of people say that it felt like it was burning. A lot of them said, you might feel like a chlorine kind of feeling. If you've ever jumped in a pool and like the chlorine water came up your nose, you might get that kind of feeling, that burning-ish. You'll feel some unusual pressure, and in the worst cases, a little bit of pain from the swab going in. Now we will talk about the mid-turbinate swab. This one is smaller and a lot less uncomfortable. It only goes up your nose about 2 centimeters or about an inch, kind of in that range. And What you do is I would have the patient blow their nose just to get air up from the lungs for the specimen, and then I would take the swab, and instead of just going up one side, it's both sides, but like I said, it didn't go in as deep, so I would kind of just swab around, just in the first part of the nostril, kind of like here, and swab around for a few seconds on each side, and that was it. For the nasopharyngeal swab and the mid-turbinate, you do tear up. That's normal. That's just the natural response to that feeling you get when something's being shoved up your nose. I shouldn't say shoved. Something's foreign is in your nose, like the pressure from it, the feeling. My advice to someone who's going to get this test done would be that it really is going to work out. It's going to be fine. Yes, a swab is going up your nose and that's uncomfortable, but nothing is being punctured. You're not getting a shot. None of your skin is being ripped off. You will be okay. Don't listen to your cousin who told you that it is the worst thing in the world. If you've given birth, this is much easier than that. You're not pushing a human out of your body. Your bones aren't breaking. You will be okay. The important thing is that you're getting tested so that you can get your surgery, or so that you can protect your loved ones, so that you can know yourself to quarantine. If you're a nurse or a healthcare worker who's doing one of these swabs, for the nasopharyngeal swab, it does take a few times to kind of figure out how the nasal canal is shaped, how to get the swab in correctly, and so that it's not as uncomfortable for the patient. So when you are, first learning to do it, just go in gently, like I said. Some people do have very small nasal canals, which can make it hard to get the swab all the way in. So if you reach a part where it's kind of stuck or you can't get through anymore, just pull back on it a little bit and try to go in again. That way you're not just forcing it through, you're kind of just pulling it back, and then sometimes, when you try again, you can get it through correctly without hurting the patient. Because that really is the goal, to make it as painless as possible and to get a good specimen for the swab, for the test. I actually do think it's cool that I got to do this, and that I got to not only test people for COVID, but also train people. That I do not mean that I'm glad COVID is around. I'm just saying that it's kind of like a cool historical thing. Like I can tell my grandkids someday, yeah, I was a nurse and I tested people for COVID. I really did not mind doing it. A lot of people kind of made comments to me like, oh, I feel so bad for you, you're testing people for COVID all day. And I just said, I really don't mind, and honestly, I really like hearing about people's stories when they come in for their appointment. A lot of them were pre-procedure people, so we would just have small talk and they would tell me, oh, this is the procedure I'm getting, and they would kind of tell me their history, and sometimes it was just really nice to hear from people and meet people, and it's just the little things that you enjoy. It was a little bit of a break from being on a hospital floor where you don't get as much time to talk to the patients, so I really did not mind it. I really hope this was helpful to anyone wondering about the COVID testing process, and I hope you all have a good rest of your week. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.